Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know the score by now. I review many photographic, audio and video related products. If you notice, I've had a little change around. I've now got the computers in the background. I've swung the cameras around, set them all up slightly differently. Well, actually quite a bit differently. And I like the aesthetic. I like the lighting. The lighting seems a lot cleaner. The skin tones look better. So I hope you like it as well. So there we go. What we're looking at today is a new camera I've only had for about, well, it's far less than a week. It arrived Sunday. And here in the UK today is Wednesday, so I've had it 3 days. I've not been able to take many photographs with it because the weather's been absolutely crap. It's been peeing down. Although this particular camera is to some extent weather sealed, I'm certainly not. So you'll have to wait for some images. So I'm just going to go through what I think about this camera after having it a few days. And what we're talking about is this fantastic camera. I think it's a fantastic camera. It's got many mixed reviews online, and it's the Canon EOS R. And here it is. It's a 30 megapixel full frame camera with a new Canon RF mount, and you know, tilty-wilty articulating screen, which is pretty synonymous to Canon. Even their entry-level cameras and the APS-C cameras, they've all got, you know, the articulating screen. I don't know who invented it, whether it was Panasonic or Canon, but Canon are very renowned for it. And there it is. Great design, really nice handling. I prefer the handling of this to the Sony cameras. I find the grips on the Sonys are really either too small and they rub, your fingers rub against the lenses. I find the grips on the Canon is really good. I really enjoy taking this out. It's a bit heavier than my Sonys, but I've got used to that, and it's a nice weight. It's not incredibly heavy. I don't know actually what the weight of it is. Have I got it written down here anywhere? No, it doesn't say. Oh yeah, weight. 660 grams with a battery, so it's not incredibly heavy. The Sony is about 480 grams. The Sony A7C. So I'm actually filming the wide shot over there with the A7C, and I love the A7C. It's got its articulating screen, works a treat, really good. And the 4K image that comes off the A7C is excellent. Now, this Canon EOS R has had, you know, many reviews online. It was the first of a range in the Canon mirrorless full frame range. They released this one, then they done the RP, and then the R5 and R6. So this was their first, you know, inroads into full frame mirrorless. It's basically, apparently, it's basically a Canon 5D Mark IV, but a mirrorless version of it. So it's got the same sensor, but I can't see how people are saying that, because the technology for mirrorless is completely different to the technology of a DSLR because of its mirror box. It doesn't have phase detect unless you're using live view. This has all of that. But the two criticisms that have been leveled at the EOS R is its 1.7 or 1.8 times crop in 4K, and this, what I really like, and it's my favorite feature of this camera, this touch bar. I call it a touch bar for accessing certain features. You can pre-program it for all sorts of different things, and I'll explain to you what I programmed it for and why I really love it. Now the EOS R has you know, it doesn't have a conventional top plate either, so it hasn't got a mode dial. If you look on the top there is no mode dial. It's got this mode button which you push in, and then you can adjust your aperture, shutter speed, exposure, you know, manual exposure and what have you. And if you want to go into video, you have to hit the info button, and you see it circulates between video or stills. So that's now in video mode, and then you can turn the dial to choose what video mode you want. You can also choose it by using the touchscreen on the back. So again, let's go back to let's get out of that. So you see that's a normal screen. You go in, press the mode button, push the mode button, and then you can use the touchscreen to choose what mode you want. And this touchscreen is excellent. Unfortunately, with the Sonys, the touchscreen only works with your focus. You can't use it for other features. It is and for playback, but it's predominantly for your focus. On the Canon, it's very much like Panasonic. It is superb. The touchscreen is excellent. So let's go back to stills mode. So let's go take it out of that mode info. Let's go back to stills. We'll choose, I don't know if we can see that, but we'll choose shutter priority using the touchscreen. Apologies if you can't see what I'm doing, but so now we're in shutter priority. Let's bring up the info so we can see. Right, so you can see on the screen there you've got your basic information. Well, it's got a quick access button there. Hit that, and then you can choose what feature you want or what you need to adjust in the quick menu. Fuji's got a quick menu, so Sony call it your function menu. I can't remember what the Fuji's called now, so they've all got this type kind of thing. But the beauty is the Canon is so easy to adjust for different settings. If you want to adjust exposure compensation, you just hit the exposure compensation button. That's the ISO button I've hit there. And you can adjust it up and down. So usability for the Canon scores highly because the ergonomics are great. It's a great camera to handle. And the touchscreen is great. And it's got its articulating screen. So image quality is great because it's a Canon. And Canon lenses are awesome. So you would expect the image quality to be, second to none. I will actually, in the description below, I'll put a link to my Flickr page so you can actually see some of the images I've taken with the Canon EOS R using various lenses. I've got its, what I call its kit lens, a 24-105 f4 to 7.1. It's not a low light beast. It's very much a, use in daylight sort of lens, but it's a great lens and it's a cheap lens. It's sharp, but it's built to a price, that's a great lens. But I also got this camera, well actually when I bought the RP, I got the RF to EF adapter. And at the moment I've got my Canon 50mm nifty 50 fitted to it via the RF adapter. So it's a Canon EF lens on this camera body using the RF adapter. It's got a specific record mode for filming, and it's, other than that, it's fairly traditional. On the back, it hasn't got the joystick for moving your focus points, which is another criticism of this camera. So there's 3 criticisms really. No joystick. This, what people are saying, is a silly implementation of this touch bar, and the 4K crop the 1.8 times crop in 4K. So let's cover those 3 points. No joystick control doesn't concern me at all because I always found the joysticks slow and cumbersome anyway. So all I do, either just touch to focus. So you just touch the screen and that'll bring up a focus point. I don't know if it will, the way I'm doing this, but that will bring up a focus point and that's what it will focus on. Or you look through the viewfinder and then let's get rid of that histogram, touch that, and then you can move your focus point to where you want to focus and then take the picture, and then that will have taken the picture of the close-up of a tripod, and it works fast, it's intuitive, and it works fine for me. And I find just moving my thumb across the screen to find your focus point is completely fine for me. I don't have an issue with that at all. So that is no issue for me whatsoever. And I've got it on live tracking and or focus tracking. I think they called it live tracking. Let's go into a quick menu and have a look. No, I'm not sure where it says it. I need to go through. Oh yeah, AF method. Just basically tracking. Yeah, so I've got it set to AF tracking on that using. That's the other thing you see with this quick menu. You can get to all your focus settings and everything else really quick. Your crop settings, if you want to shoot in super 35mm mode, that crops the sensor down to super 35. It extends the telephoto range of your lens. The downside with it, you get less megapixels per image, but it may well be useful for certain applications. And that's what it does in 4K video. Basically, that's all it's doing. Instead of using the full width of the sensor, it's using a cropped part of a sensor. And I think it's around about the APS-C size of APS-C cameras. So it's not a big deal for me. So yeah, that's all the functionality of it. Now, getting back to this touchscreen, this touch bar on the back. Now, this is the criticism, one of its major criticism. People are saying this is lousy because it's easy to knock. But basically what you can do, you can set it up for exposure compensation, ISO adjustments, many things. But I've set it up for one feature. Well, actually, I've got it set up for 3 features, actually. But one really useful feature for me. I use these cameras predominantly for filming. And I will be using it for 4K filming because a 1.8 times crop is, it is what it is. It's basically an APS-C camera. So if you've been using APS-C cameras, why worry about the crop? Because that's what you're used to. So I've got this set up for adjusting the audio level. So let me put this into video mode. Right, let me do that. So we're now in video mode. So that's now in video mode. And now when I move this bar, that should, and it is. So that'll be taking the audio levels down by sliding my finger across that bar that way. And then you can take the audio levels up by sliding it the other way. That's so quick and easy. And it's not cumbersome. Look how good that is. That is a great implementation. Most cameras, if not all, it's a 2 or 3, maybe 4 functions to get to adjusting your audio levels. You've got to go into a function button, then turn the wheel on the back. This doesn't actually have a wheel on the back here. But like the Sonys, my A7C or my other Sonys, you have to hit a function button. If you pre-assigned one for adjusting the audio levels, then you have to turn the wheel on the back. Say this one doesn't have one, to set your audio levels. Not with this camera. All I've got to do is slide this up or down, and that works an absolute treat. That's wonderful. And if you do a hard push on this side, that'll bring up the histogram. You see the histogram coming up and then disappears. And then on the other side, I got focus guide. It will say not available, but focus guide. That's a great Canon implementation if you're using manual focus. I love it. I'll do a separate video on that because it's a great feature. So that's that is that bar. I actually love the bar. As far as the crop in 4K, that doesn't worry me at all because I'm used to using APS-C cameras, so I just use it in super 35mm mode, and just use a wider lens if I need to use a wider lens. So it's not, it's not an issue. And they really are the 2 main criticisms of the Canon EOS R. But its bitrate is really high, and it's got Canon C-Log for filming. So, it's got all the lovely jubbly features that you would want. And I really like this this LCD display on the top. You can actually hit the light button. If you hold it in, that'll light up. As you can see, it's lit up there, so you can actually see, that in the dark. And that's great. So, and I used to do a lot of work in theatres. I don't now, so I'm pretty much semi-retired. But when I did, it was always a pain because you couldn't see your settings. With this, you can, because you're in the theatre, it's dark, and you just push that button and your settings come up. Great feature. It's got silent shooting mode, which is pretty much a norm for mirrorless cameras. And I say, great handling. It has only got one SD card slot. The SD card slot is in the side. Which is great. It's not in where the battery goes, which is, really helpful. But it's in the side. That is a criticism of this camera, only one SD card slot. But, I'm not going to get into that. You either, it's Marmite. You either love it or you don't, But I don't have an issue with that. That works fine for me. It takes the LPE6 battery. It's a new version of it, but it will take any of the old LPE6 batteries. So that's great, LPE6 battery in there. And it has got on the side here, this side, on the side here, under these, I don't like these flaps, but that's neither here nor there. It's got your mini HDMI port, which is better than micro, but not as good as full size. So in betweeny there. Mini HDMI, USB-C for charging the camera. But you can't run the camera off USB-C, which is a bit of a shame. Unlike I can on my A7C and all my Sonys, and that's what I love my Sonys for. But crucially for video, it has got your mic and headphone jack, he says. There we go. So it's got the mic and the headphone jack on the side there. So you know, there we go. That's just a brief overview of the Canon EOS R. I'm chuffed to bits with it. I'm really looking forward to getting outdoors when the weather's better, for taking more photographs and doing more video with it. I'll be using it in the studio here for video, but at the moment I've got me A7C, Sony A7C picking up the wide shot, me A6600 picking up the close-up, and I've got a one over there, an A6100 picking up that shot, and then I've got my ZV-1 picking up all these lovely jubbly close-ups. So there we go. That's the Canon EOS R. So, oh, the other thing that I forgot to mention, which is a really, I think, important, a very, very useful feature. When you take the lens off, so I've turned that off now, you can see there that the camera has gone off. When you take the lens off, or in my case, the lens and the adapter, look what it does. It shuts down the shutter, so it's protecting the sensor. Such, I think, a simple idea, but very effective. Great for photographers that are working in dusty environments. It could be a factory, it could be you go down to the beach, you're working down at the beach and you need to change lenses. What a beautiful feature. You've got no fear of dust getting on the I can't say it. You've got no fear of dust getting on the sensor while the lens is off. And I say this RF to EF adapter works beautifully. I've had no issue with Canon EF lenses auto-focusing, exposure and everything else working as if they were native lenses. It's a great adapter, and Canon make various adapters. There's one that will take an ND filter, I can't remember, oh, another one that's got the control ring, because with Canon lenses, the new RF lenses, they fitted a control ring at the front, and you can preset that up for even adjust the ISO, exposure compensation, whatever, you know. So there we go. That's the Canon EOS R, and it's a great price now. We're looking at November 2020. It's really come down in price. So I think it makes, you know, a great purchase. And as I say, for video, it's great because the bit rate is so high. The bit rate's really high in 4K and in HD. So you get lovely, crisp, sharp images. Great for grading if you're using C-Log. Not that I've done any of that as yet. So there we go. That's for Canon EOS R. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you do like the new layout. I like it. Anyway, so that's, as long as I like it, who cares? So I really do hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, will you please subscribe? It's great. My subscribers are really growing, and I'm loving it, and I'm sure the guys and girls that are subscribing are enjoying the content. Otherwise I wouldn't have thought you would subscribe. So all the subscribers are really helping me grow the channel. It means so much to me. It gives me the incentive and the motivation to want to produce more content for everyone to enjoy. So once again, very, very many thanks for that. So enjoy the channel. Stay tuned for more videos relating to video photography and audio. Thanks very much. Bye for now.